All right, here we are.
Welcome to the third round.
Wow. I guess we don't need this.
That's all you guys have had is 3 rounds?
Right there. No, I'm pretty sure I'm, I don't know, 6 or 7.
Absolutely.
Okay.
8.
Oh, you're talking about the actual NFL
Yeah,
draft.
yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. Yeah.
My mind was somewhere else.
Yeah, so here, okay, welcome back, Raider Nation. So here we are. So we are on, gosh, Jeff, I'm just going to toss it to you.
Okay, go for it.
We have been kind of clamoring for the idea of Hendon Hooker as a project.
Yes.
We always say on this show, though, first and foremost, we don't get married to players. In the last 20 minutes, have had a lot of interactions on Twitter with folks about people that because we're talking about inside linebackers that the Raiders could take.
Everyone loved Drew Pearson,
and everybody,
not Drew Pearson,
Drew Sanders, and everyone's telling me that I'm a casual because I don't know how good Drew Sanders. Okay,
oh my gosh,
and good for you that you knew more about him than I do. Thank you. And because I was thinking like Simpson out of Clemson, but anyways, so now Sanders is a Bronco. So this is why you don't get married to players.
I hate that guy.
I hate that guy.
Maybe
now.
more than anybody in the world.
Everybody in there's no one on our shit list higher than Drew Sanders because now he's an inside linebacker for the Broncos.
Right.
So the lesson is don't get married to players because they could end up playing for teams that you don't like.
Yeah, they could end up being a Detroit Lion like Hendon Hooker. Just
There
became.
you go. So are you in your feelings? Like what do you vibing here now for the Raiders?
No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. No problem.
Well, we're on the clock now, boys.
Yeah,
we
we're
now?
officially on the clock, and we're about to draft one of my favorite players.
All right, QB Jeff, what do we got? Who are we thinking?
Well, I'm thinking you got to go corner. I'm sorry,
Keely Ringo.
Big, tall guy. I mean, I think he's the best corner on the board as of right now. 6'2", 207. I mean, we got to get a corner. I think there's a lot of linebackers still left that can play.
You think so?
Picks already
I think
in.
so.
I think we got to go Tristan Simpson.
Yeah, I think so. And by the way, the second group of 5 guy just came off the board. Texans took Tank Dell, receiver out of Houston.
Oh, nice.
Clayton Tunes guy.
So and that's now two group of five guys and both wide receivers.
Yep, Rashee Rice and Tank Dell.
There you go.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go crank this. Here.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go. Yeah.
Well, here in just a second. Let me pause that. I gotta go crank this shit.
Are you gonna turn the TV up too?
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
Oh, it's Ray Chester.
National Football League fans. Hello, arch enemy, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I like that.
Congratulations on your Super Bowl victory.
It only took you 40 years to catch up.
In the National Football League, they have a saying called next man up. They say next man up. And so I'm here representing the great and late Willie Brown, one of our great players, Hall of Famer. And Willie's tradition was
Oh, love it.
to always remind all of you,
Oh, yes.
I love this.
and those watching on TV, to remember what's coming up in the next week or so. Mother's Day.
Yeah, let's go.
That's
Willie
awesome.
Brown took great pride in encouraging all National Football League fans and all our television audiences to remember your mom. Remember your mom.
Good job.
With the 70th
That's
pick
awesome, man.
in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Byron Young, defensive tackle, Alabama.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Youngs we're going to see get drafted this year.
Okay. All right, I'm going to toss it over. I'm going to toss it over to the expert. So we were just talking about defensive tackle before we came to air because we were talking about the guys that we drafted last year. We drafted tackles back to back after Dylan Parham. We drafted Neil Farrell Jr.
Yes.
And the other guy. And so one was from LSU, one was from Tennessee. Damn it, his name is escaping me at the moment. This is terrible. I should know this.
Butler.
Matthew
and,
Butler, thank you.
yeah,
Matthew Butler and Neil Farrell Jr. Okay, yes. So we drafted those two guys. So we talked about how that drafting lower round guys like that, how it might take a year or two for them to develop. Now, here we've done it again. Now, you've expressed a lot tonight, QB Jeff, the importance of having more than just the ends and having multiple players that can get that push on that pass rush. I don't know much about the player because I'm a casual, but tell me what you think about him and about drafting for that position.
I mean, I like the player. I think we need help on the outside. So evidently, in my opinion, they feel confident in some of the guys. Maybe they got in free agency that they can fill those roles on the outside. We know how Nate Hobbs did as a slot DB. So I mean, they're loading up on the D line. I mean, they obviously are showing the importance of getting after the quarterback. So
I mean, we made
having a young guy,
and we made a lot of moves in free agency in the
did.
secondary. It's not like we hadn't addressed it.
Yeah, and if that's how they feel, I'm good with it. If they feel confident in their guys on the outside, I mean, they're there. You know, they know the guys they got, the guys they have in practice. So if they're confident with the corners and safeties that they have, I'm good with it. And I'll say this: I like it too because I do feel like there's a lot of linebackers still out there, and with another pick in the 3rd round, we got to go linebacker next.
You think you'd have to.
You'd have to.
I mean, and Tristan Simpson could fall. I mean, we've seen some of these guys. You know, you see a bunch of wide receivers that are really, really, highly recruited guys that have fallen down into the middle of the 3rd round and stuff like that. So you just never know. I'm still interested in maybe the guy out of Alabama, Henry To'oTo'o. That I think we could probably snag with one of our 5th round picks, something like that.
You talked about him before.
And
You brought him up.
he's solid. Well, he transferred to Alabama from Tennessee, so I got to watch him a couple years.
Gotcha.
And the guy's a stud, man. Like he's really, really good. So yeah, there's definitely some depth positions that could come in and be kind of day one starters, later in this draft. So yeah, but I mean, you got to go linebacker of this next pick.
Well,
right, or corner or something like that.
Well, here's the thing. So QB Jeff called it out, and so I'm looking at it now. We have 9 corners on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Ike Brown, Bryce Crosby, Brandon Faison, Tyler Hall, Nate Hobbs, David Long Jr., Meek Robertson, Duke Shelley, Sam Webb. Now, the days of the lockdown corner and having like the one guy that can, take over that side of the field. And
Sure.
That's kind of gone, right? QB Jeff, like that whole element isn't like what it once was. Even when you look at the most high profile corners that are in the league, you're not necessarily like the days of Deion Sanders are long gone, right? Or even keep it in house, Nnamdi Asomugha, right?
Yeah.
Those days are long over. But is there anybody on this list though that like stands out to you as like, or is this just ultimately, is this an expression of the system? I hate that, but is this Patrick Graham's system? And these are the guys that are plug and play. These are young men.
Yeah.
There's not like we got a bunch of old guys over here. So these are young men, young players. Like, I don't know. Like you said, is this what they're all? We as fans don't get the same exposure to it
For sure.
that the coaches do, obviously, because they're the ones designing all this stuff. Is that the case? I mean,
evidently, based off of their picks, I mean, they're loading up front, and I would say, I mean, that was our especially on defense, that was our biggest problem was we couldn't get after the quarterback and we couldn't stop the run very well. So you go and end to start it off, another tackle. I mean, they're loading up the box. They're trying to
loading up.
They're trying to get somebody that's going to fill it up, in the middle to stop the run, and then you got the 2 edge rushers on the outside, Wilson and Crosby. That's why I kind of thought maybe they were going to put Wilson inside, but maybe not. Maybe not now.
Maybe not. Now we got a lot of big dudes
and
in
like
there.
Swaggo was saying, maybe you save Chandler Jones for those 3rd down situations, depending on how Wilson does to
Just
start.
pins his ears back and go get Patrick Mahomes.
100%.
Yeah, interesting. So what about you, Swaggo? I mean, look at the corners there. I mean, other than to me, the 2 names that jump out are Nate Hobbs and Meek Robertson. Like those are the 2 names.
Yeah, those are the 2. I mean,
but they kind of both are best inside.
Yeah.
That's the thing that like gets
Yeah.
me. So even
Yeah.
though we have 900 freaking corners on the roster,
Yeah.
I don't feel like we have those 2 guys that are automatic like locks on the
Yeah,
outside.
no,
I don't know.
the name that just comes to mind that you said right there is Brandon Faison, or Facion or whatever, and that's and I mean we know him, he played for the Raiders a couple years ago. He played under Gus Bradley and stuff like that, and was secondary corner to behind Stephon Gilmore with the Colts last year. So I mean he's gotten some experience and stuff like that. I mean he's a solid rotational guy, but I think they're just kind of saying hey, this is going to be maybe just like a committee kind
That's
of
what
thing.
I'm thinking. I think it's a plug-and-play system kind of
which,
thing.
I mean, you hate to bring up that's how the Patriots used to do it, but that's kind of how they used to do it.
That's
On both
true.
sides of the ball, you see someone new and someone different every single week where, and we kind of got a glimpse of that last year too. You'd see Tyler Hall, who everyone was like, who? and this guy have a freaking baller ass game. And so, so I'm interested to see what this guy looks like year 2 in our system as well. So, so they might just kind of be happy with who they've got and then maybe get another rotational guy late in the draft.
That's true. That's a great point, man. So, okay. So that was there's our 70. So we've got 30 more picks to go before we get out of the third round. But thankfully, these things obviously speed up quite a bit and get moving. So, all right. So let's speculate. Let's send it around. I think we've got to address a stand-up linebacker position. We've got to address middle linebacker. I mean, as much as we love Luke Masterson and Mickey Spillane, or I know it's Robert Spillane, but you look up Mickey. I think that's got to be the move. It's got to. I mean, unless there's some free agents that are still out there that just aren't off top of mind that they're considering, because there's a lot of players out there still, and we see a lot of especially aging veterans that don't sign early on. I mean, we've had our boy Will Compton tell us a million times he doesn't like to sign before the preseason.
Sure.
He wants to sign his contract after freaking training camp's over, save his body. He's a plug and play guy. Heck, when the Raiders signed him, he came in and in the 9 games he played, he was the Raiders' leading tackler.
Yeah.
I mean, so you got players like that can come in later on in the season. So maybe they're already in talks with guys like that. And that's the thing, is that we never know. We just don't know what the whole big vision is of the plan.
Yeah,
but
we're
anyways,
guessing.
that said, if they're going to address it in the draft, they better get to it, because it's gonna.
Right.
I mean, so I'm gonna cast my vote for a stand-up linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's the position at this point that we need to address. We've addressed the end. We've addressed the inside up front. We grabbed the tight end, which the more we were kind of talking about it off the air, I actually do.
Makes a lot more sense.
Makes
now.
a lot more sense
Yeah.
when you see all these other tight ends going off the board, and in that spot, you take your best available. I think he was probably it. And here's the deal. I think that now that we've kind of been talking about it, we there's a lot of depth at the corner. So maybe they feel that they don't need to go and address that in the draft. They're going to roll with what they got. And those guys' best friends are shoring up the front, the front 7, getting after the quarterback. So I think you go inside linebacker here. I think there's a lot of opportunity, with Dorian Williams, I said, out of Tulane.
That's what I was going to say. That's your G5 guy.
That's my group of 5 guy. He's fast for a linebacker. He covers sideline to sideline. Did it all year.
What's his knock? Is he undersized or anything? Or
no, he's not undersized. He is 6'2", 225.
Oh, he's built.
I mean, he's played. Let's see, he's got 4 years under his belt. Last year he had 131 total tackles, 81 of them solo, 2 picks, 5 sacks. So he's a good guy. But he's one that I think you could even wait a little bit. And here's the other thing.
Yeah, then he might be a tomorrow pick.
That's what I'm saying. So, it's all who they evaluate and who they like. But, guys, remember, Max Crosby was a 4th-round pick.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Just because, we wait to get a position doesn't mean the guy, they might have something on somebody.
That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've been watching this draft and seeing people, get off the board in the 3rd round, you're like, holy cow, how is that guy still there? We're just talking about Tristan Simpson. Why has that guy not been taken yet?
Or Jalen Hyatt, who just got taken finally.
Got taken at pick 73.
Frickin' Danny Dimes is going to have a field day with that, man.
Yeah.
There's some. Hey, you know what? I'll tell you this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Jeff. But there's been a handful of teams that we've seen tonight. I mean, and I know you got to wait a few years for a draft to play out before you can truly evaluate it and all that. But in terms of talent acquisition tonight, there are some teams that have gotten a lot better. The Detroit Lions are one. The freaking New York Giants are one. There are some teams that got a lot better tonight, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, but that being said, we've kind of talked, leading up to this weekend and stuff like that, we've talked a lot about how deep this draft is defensively. You could find, can find freaking all-stars in the 5th, 6th round in this thing. So if there was ever a year where you needed defense, it was the 2023 draft, and so we're kind of seeing that right now.
Although we see all the wide receivers get, and we were talking about how this was such a weak wide receiver draft, and yet all the wide receivers
they're all gone.
It's bananas.
Yeah,
man.
they're all
I
gone.
guess you gotta take him because there's not a lot of.
That's the thing too, is you see a lot of these offensive people go, and you just saw the other Cedric Tillman, the other wide receiver from Tennessee,
other wide receiver from Tennessee,
go to the Browns.
Go to the Browns. Wow.
So those 2 guys are off the board. So, but yeah, you see a lot of these offensive players go. Because this draft is so deep with defense. So like if you need anything offensively, like what we did in the second round, need a tight end. Okay, well let's go ahead and get them. Because there will be people that we like later on.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
So I feel good. I feel good.
Okay. All right. Good. So where are we going? What? Give me a position.
A linebacker.
Linebacker. Yeah. Okay. So that's our consensus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So what say you, Raider Nation? Of course, I can't read the chat because we don't have it up on these little live break-ins. But I want to hear what your opinion is. Let us know who you think the Raiders are going to take next. And enjoy the next 27 picks, and we'll try to keep it together and not sound like we got stung by bees and our tongues are swollen up when we get back on the air next. Yeah. All right.
Goodbye.
See you. Love y'all.